Project Zomboid is a fantastic game where you find yourself locked in an epic battle against the undead, and at its core, like any great zombie movie, is the ultimate survivalist fantasy. Imagine all of society's amenities and safety nets were stripped away, and something as simple as getting your hands on your next meal was a major task in itself. Basically, the appeal of Zomboid can be summed up by Tim Robbins in The Shawshank Redemption.
Get busy living, or get busy dying.
Meet the Dust. Being an unemployed smoker currently living in the town of West Point, the Dust might not appear to be your typical action hero at first glance, but he's got some upside to him as he's a fast reader and fast learner who's known for his good luck. That being said, it might be hard to tell from his current predicament. While searching for weapons, the only thing the Dust is able to round up is a basic-ass kitchen knife, and he also apparently never thought to purchase a can opener, which means all of his canned food might as well be paperweights for the time being. The house has little else of value, so he sells for taking the curtains before heading out into the unknown. It doesn't take long for the Dust to spot a couple of troublesome locals. If you ever find yourself outnumbered without a decent weapon, divide and conquer. If it was good enough to help Caesar take Gaul, then it's good enough to deal with some undead dipshits. The Dust quickly reappropriates the pants of the first zombie he kills, and also claims the magnum and shotgun they'd been carrying as his own. While they help make him feel a little more secure, he knows that using either of them now would basically be signing his own death sentence. Following this, the Dust takes out a few more zombies, stripping the watch off one, before being accosted by a couple of more, including one who would end up providing him with a pretty sweet beret. Checking out one of the nearby houses, the luck of the Dust finally pays off as he finds a delicious fish fillet still hot in the oven, as well as a small collection of VHS tapes, which meant he could have himself a fun little movie night down the line. Upon heading out, the Dust encounters two more zombies who he's easily able to dispatch of, using the environment to his advantage, and after doing so, he snags the sweater off one of them, completing the Steve Jobs as the leader of a guerrilla army look that he was apparently going for. Then he investigates a nearby garage where the Dust finds a bunch of useful shit, such as a hammer and screwdriver, as well as a garbage bag to make hauling around said shit a little easier. After this, the Dust heads into the house, which he quickly claims as his own, symbolized by hanging up his curtains, which is pretty much the equivalent of planting your flag during a zombie outbreak. He also finds a spot to store his new guns. Sadly, the old neighborhood's really gone to shit during the end of days, and about 5 minutes after moving in, the Dust finds himself the victim of a home invasion. The Dust quickly deals with the intruder, although he lures the reanimated asshole out the house first, so he doesn't have to clean up a mess. Well, aside from the broken window, which turns out to be more trouble than it's worth as he cuts his hand when picking up the glass. Lacking any medical supplies, the Dust is forced to improvise and fashion the socks of the zombie he just killed into a makeshift bandage. It might not be fancy, but it gets the job done. He continues putting up his curtains to keep the peeping toms at bay, then heads upstairs where he finds a pen, which allows him to mark down the location of his new house on his map. The Dust then decides to check out the houses across the street, although before he can do so, he is confronted by another small group of flesh-eating fanatics. However, they would all prove to be no match for his new hammer, and as luck would have it, one of them was even carrying a map of West Point, which could prove itself to be very useful if the Dust lived long enough to plan a trip into town. Once inside, he finds a bottle of orange soda, which is a major win. Not only can the Dust fill his belly with its tangy goodness, but the empty bottle can be filled with water, although he forgets to do so like a complete idiot as he quickly finds himself getting distracted, swiping all the food. His good fortunes would continue as he'd also find a badass leather jacket when looking around upstairs. Also, kids, you want to remember that people tend to keep their prescription drugs in medicine cabinets, which means the bathroom should be your first stop when you're in need of a quick fix. Headed back home, he finds that some of the peepers he had spotted earlier had made their way to the front yard, so he sets down his bag of goodies and quickly takes care of business. After dropping off all of his supplies, the Dust decided he had time to make a few more stops, and made his way over to another house to fill his bottle with water and of course, help himself to the pantry. While rummaging through another garage, the Dust finds a wrench and also a metal bar, which looks like it'd be pretty good at bashing zombie skulls with. He makes one last stop, and it turned out to be a wise choice, as he's able to get his hands on an empty gas can, a propane torch, and even a generator. Calling it a night, the Dust returns home and drops his new tools off in his own garage. Afterwards, he's attacked by another small group. At first, he was pretty annoyed, although his mood quickly changes when he spots the satchel one of them was carrying, which was a definite upgrade over the garbage bag he'd been hauling around, like some sort of street rat. It was then time to go inside and head to bed, officially bringing an end to a very productive first day. What's up people, Dusty here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel to be kept up to date with all my latest content. And as always, thanks for watching.